best-selling recording artist, Pentatonics.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' bright glance, the bombs bursting in us, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Whoa, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, sim racing fans, to the Monster Mile. Welcome back to the virtual Dover Motor Speedway. Tonight we're set for 100 laps of high-stakes action in the Bump and Run Super Series featuring the ever-challenging newer released here in the iRacing universe, ARCA Menards cars. They're tight, they're fast, they are definitely unforgiving, especially, hey, bring it to this 1 mile concrete oval. You're about to see some of the most intense racing probably throughout your iRacing careers. Welcome in here to Stam Studio Network. My name is Sean Stam, the only one up here in the booth tonight, but that is not going to be a factor as we're going to have 70% of fuel amount on these fuel tanks. That's going to be the factor. That's what we're going to have to be watching here tonight. Welcome in here as we take a look at our upcoming schedule here for the Bump and Run ARCA series. Tonight we're at you live from the virtual Dover Motor Speedway, then Atlanta, Chicagoland, Talladega, Texas coming up, one of my favorites, Auto Club. Then we're going out to Lime Rock there September 6th. Be sure you put that one down on your calendars. Fun road course. Daytona September 13th, Kansas, and then rounding out the season at IRP September 27th. Welcome in here live once again to Stam Studio Network. I'm going to open this broadcast with saying I appreciate every single one of you joining in here tonight, the drivers that are about to put on the show, the league owners as well. But if you have joined in on the virtual YouTube broadcast, if you got the big black bars up there on the left and right side of your screen, make sure you mosey your way down on over to the horizontal broadcast. And after you've done that, if you're already at the horizontal broadcast, make sure there's a little gear icon on the bottom right of your screen. Make sure that you press that there and go to 1440p to get the most high quality iRacing racing tonight. Taking a look at our starting grid, it's going to be the Austin Mice Machines, last to qualify, but first on the grid here tonight. How about Bud Shear, Brandon Moore, Charles Van Schwick, Sean Judson, Kyla McCarthy, looks like Xavier Salgado, John Holliday, John Higbaugh, Samuel Blackwell, Anthony Lane, Gary Huffins, Mike Allen, Justin Steves, rounding out our 16-driver grid here tonight. as we are just getting ready to get trackside action here. Real quick before we do, take a look at the track info here tonight. It looks like an oval. It looks like a steady cookie cutter 1 mile oval, but the banking within these turns as well as the concrete surface. If you didn't catch the Bump and Run Cup Series race here, these tires are going to be like your babies here tonight. Going to want to keep them all underneath you. And real quick, as we do get engines rolling here, let me know if audio levels are a-okay, if engines need to be louder, if I need to be louder, or if the racing needs to... the racing is about to be louder here as that Mice machine, Austin Mice, Bud Shearer, R1 driver from up here north. He's out of Canada, the number 93. He's starting P2 here tonight. Everybody live in YouTube lands, keep your eye here on Bud Shearer. He pretty much came away with what would have been the race win there 2 weeks ago. Actually, it was 3 weeks ago from Phoenix Raceway, the mid-season finale. Right now, though, we have waited 3 weeks. We are now side by side up the high banks of the concrete Monster Mile. You better run, you better hide. Miles is hungry here, boys and girls. Here we go. We have waited long enough for it. Green flag racing, Austin Mice Chevrolet SS. Green flag is out. Here we go. We are going to head side by side there into turn one. So far, clean and cordial start here for the race leaders. The Austin Mice, Bud Shearer. Bud Shearer actually going to come out back and take away the race lead. Here's some more side by side, a little bit further in the back of the pack. Sean Judson able to make it a really nice race start there. Kyla McCarthy's going to follow down and in suit. Here's where we're going to have the battling here. Looks like John Holiday, he's actually going to climb up the hill here in turns 1 and 2, then diamond that apex down on the exit. That's how you get a little bit more extra momentum. But remember, you got to be careful with these tires here tonight. Don't want to burn them up a little bit too quick, as that's what we continue to see. John Holiday, he looks like a mountain man climbing up that banking, as here comes Samuel Blackwell, Joshua Higbaugh, Silver Fox Racing, number 41 Chevrolet SS, looking down and down that inside line. We're going to be side by side at the exit of turn number 2 once again. Down that back straightaway here between the number 41 and the number 81. Here comes Anthony Lane, another Silver Fox Racing driver, as he has quite a view out there in the front of his windscreen. Here we go, back up to the race lead, though. It's going to be Austin Mice, Bud Shearer. Bud got the lead off of that initial race start, but as we're going to look at Austin Mice, pole sitter, he's going to say thank you very much, back out and around for that race lead. Here's a quick replay for the pass for the race lead. Once again, Austin Mice, door quarter clear as Bud, he slid up that track once again. We're going to see the rubber get caked into this concrete surface as this race goes on. But right now, quite frankly, I think the bottom of the track is where you're going to want to be. Here's a quick replay at our race start. Yeah, you see Austin Mice, he spun the tires, it looked a little bit like, and Bud Shearer was actually able to take that race start away from Austin Mice. But now back out to live racing action. Here comes Charles Van Schwick, another very, very fast driver. He was up there in the points. We'll get to talking about some points about halfway through this race. Make sure you stick on by us. But Bud Shearer right now, he is struggling in the number 93 Chevrolet SS. Struggle bus even in clean air. That is going to be the name of the game here tonight, as we have some really nice battles starting to ensue about midway pack. This is Kyla McCarthy, Samuel Blackwell. How about John Holiday, Dale Rapp, Joshua Higbaugh? You could throw a blanket right now about 7th through 14th. Speaking of Joshua Higbaugh, he sits 11th right now. He is trying to fight off a hard charging Mike Allen and get within Dale Rapp. Now he's going to look down the inside once again. Joshua Higbaugh, he was one of the fastest drivers in practice. He's going to slide up the track. This is two Silver Fox Racing machines going at it, nose to tail. Joshua Higbaugh, he put down the most amount of laps within our practice sessions as well. Here we go, number 5241 going at it here tonight from the Bump and Run ARCA Series Racing, live from the virtual Dover Motor Speedway. Appreciate every single one of you once again joining in here tonight, as well as the sponsors and affiliates that are cycling out to the top right of the screen. Right now, the closest battle on the screen right now is going to be Xavier Salgado, that bright pink Toyota Camry. A little bit of a, is that Tony Stewart, a little Home Depot action? It looks like it there. As Kyla McCarthy, that's a very similar paint scheme. Nitro Racing on the side of that one. Remember though, Kyla McCarthy, he's had to fight off that hard charging John Holliday early on, Samuel Blackwell as well as John Holliday, but Samuel Blackwell right now, he is our biggest mover so far tonight from Dover, sitting 3 spots gained since the drop of the green flag. Hey, we see you down there live in YouTube land. We got Ted Wilbur as well as the third Musketeers. Let me know volume is A-OK. We appreciate that, and I know it's a little bit earlier on here. It's only 12 laps in it, but because we got some very, very nice fans helping us out here tonight, go ahead. This one's for you guys. Enjoy the sights and sounds. Go ahead, enjoy a couple laps of a Crank It Up as we're looking side by side here once again between Samuel Blackwell, John Holliday showing some pace. Hang on to it. Actually, hang on to the Crank It Up as well. That's going to be Samuel Blackwell. What a save there out of the number 8 machine. Taking a quick replay of it here. Look at Samuel. He got shoved up the racetrack there. That was actually a little bit behind it. We'll take another replay of it here. Gosh, I don't know how Samuel just saved that puppy. That's got Dale Earnhardt parsing through the veins here tonight. Right where is not going to be too happy with him, but at least Samuel Blackwell lives to fight another day. Another driver there out of the frequent North Carolina. This driver there out of Archdale. Here we go once again. Samuel's going to look down that inside once again off the exit. Right side tires. Once again, Samuel, hang on to it, man. We got a long way to go, a long time to get there. These drivers, though, they are showing us it is all how it is done here tonight. Samuel Blackwell continues to fight for that 10th spot. Back up to the race lead, though. It is between these front two. Now with a 1.6 second gap. Now I think I can treat you sights and sounds. My name's Sean Stam. I'll be right back with you up here in the booth. Slowly crank this puppy back down because battle for the lead, it's heating up right now. It is broiling between the 23, the 97. This will be Charles Van Schwick as well as Austin Mice. Charles Van Schwick down and around the inside. Austin Mice, there you saw, he tried to play the dirty air game as we're working speeds of 140, 150 miles an hour here from the high-banked Dover Motor Speedway. You saw Austin Mice tried to play a little bit of defense there in our Crank It Up. He tried to deposit all the dirty air in the world that he could off the front nose of that Ford Mustang of Charles Van Schwick. Just not able to make it happen. Charles showing some very nice pace here tonight, and the long run speed is what you want. We're only 20 laps down out of 100 in this race. You blink. What do they say? Time flies when you're having fun, but already 21 laps down here, and well, looks like the long run game is going to be kind of the driver or the strategy we're gonna have to keep an eye on here tonight. Charles Van Schwick looks like he's trying to pull a little bit more of a gap here over Austin Mice, backing up here to the battle for P3 and P4. Brandon Moore, Bud Shearer, these have kind of been our front four runners all season as we kind of start to see the cream and these drivers start to rise to the top here. Well, we do see Charles Van Schwick, Austin Mice, Brandon Moore, Bud Shearer, even Sean Judson, Kyla McCarthy, all just about that top 5 and 6 week in and week out. Xavier Salgado, Joshua Higbaugh, John Holiday. All of these drivers we do continue to see to really fight hard for their positions and really have nice running positions week in and week out. Two Silver Fox Racing drivers that continue to go at it here from Dover Motor Speedway. You got to be careful here, boys. Miles is hungry here tonight, but Dale Rapp and Anthony Lane continue to go at it here. That's the 52 Chevrolet SS, as well as that 81. Also got that bow tie. Hopping on board with Anthony Lane here. This is what I meant, the dirty air. If you're Dale Rapp here in front of Anthony Lane, although you're teammates, you're going to try to make the team work, make the dream work. If you run in the dirty air, trust me, believe me, especially these ARCA cars, they're just not going to want to turn. You're going to end up putting even more steering input into the car. Take a look at the bottom right of your screen. That is our kind of live telemetry here tonight. We're working 140 out of the exit, going into 150 into the turns, pushing 160. And right now we're on board with Anthony Lane. Keep an eye on this. He's going to keep trying to get a little bit of clean air on the front of his Chevrolet SS, as long as he even has that right front headlight and at least a little bit of clean air, he'll have a little bit more grip to work with here. Anthony Lane, he's still sitting right where he started. Dale Rapp, though, you got a feel for him. Dale, he is -4 spots since the start of this race. Samuel Blackwell right in front of this battle. He started 11th. Samuel sits 10th. John Holiday, Xavier Salgado, as well as Joshua Higbaugh, all right where they started, except for Joshua, who sits up 3 spots gained since the drop of the green flag. Right now, though, John Holiday, he's one of those drivers who, remember, at the start of this race, we saw him looking like a mountaineer, trying to climb up the banking here in turns, well, every turn here tonight. He's going to this time look down the inside as Xavier Salgado kind of misses the corner there. Xavier's going to drift up down there on exit. Call that John Holiday back up to P8 for the moment. That's 1 spot gained since the drop of the green. Something we're going to have to keep an eye on here, folks, is, I mean, Charles Van Schwick, sure, he does have that 1 second advantage right now over Austin Mice. But right now, the last lap that Charles Van Schwick put down, get this, it was a 24.72, and then right before that, it was a 24.5. So as these tires continue to kind of burn themselves off, there you see the bottom of your screen, kind of looks like a Christmas tree. You got a little bit of green, you got a little bit of, well, that's a lot of bit of red. Charles Van Schwick, matter of fact, a lot slower. That's the last 3 laps there compared to Austin Mice. And even as we compare Austin Mice to Brandon Moore, that's looking a lot more like St. Patrick's Day at the bottom of your screen than Christmas. Austin Mice is showing some really, really nice pace late in the run here tonight. We're sitting at 70% fuel run, so we should be able to go at least 40, 50 more laps. But remember what I said right before this race started here. You're going to want to treat these tires like they're your babies. Austin Mice continues to show us how it's done in as far as that regards, as he continues to reel in our race leader and continues to run away from Brandon Moore. But we're going to have a little bit of lap traffic here. Talk about dirty air. That's going to continue to put some dirty air off the front nose of these front runners. So right now, Van Schwick, remember, 3 weeks ago out there from the virtual Phoenix Raceway, Charles Van Schwick took away that race lead, although we did see Bud Shear come away with the kind of the mid-race season finale, you could call it, there within the point standings. Charles Van Schwick is looking to go back-to-back here within the Bump and Run ARCA series, as well as Brandon Moore. He got P2 last race at Phoenix. Right now he's sitting P3, trying to reel in that Mice machine. Right now it's only half a second separating that Mice machine as well as Brandon Moore. How about Bud Shearer, though? Once again, I think the front runners here throughout the whole season, as far as long run strategy goes, you definitely have to take a look at the 43 as well as the 93. Once again, these two drivers running 3rd and 4th right now. Gary Huffins, Dale Rapp, Anthony Lane, another sort of blanket over this battle that right now is starting to heat up right now for 11th, 12th, 13th, because these drivers you see at in the top right of your screen, Dover, it's only a mile long here, folks, and with the banking that we have, the lap time's only about the 24, pushing 25 second range here. Here we're going to go look inside of Dale Rapp and Gary Huffins. This time, Dale Rapp's going to shoot up the hill. He is fighting for grip right now in that Dale Rapp machine, that Chevrolet SS. He's kind of in a Silver Fox Racing sandwich right now. Well, Dale Rapp is Silver Fox Racing as well as Anthony Lane. Justin Steves out here tonight. Justin, he was late here into the practice session, excuse me, but the number 87, one of 4 Toyota Camaries out here tonight. That Red Bull 87, that's Red Bull. We know they have the pace here from Dover Motor Speedway. Justin possibly just waiting for a caution to fall, and I think it's not if, but it is when, as we're going to continue to see side-by-side racing action up here. Boston Mice, he's going to lose a couple spots. Bud Shearer, he's going to gain a couple spots. Remember, Bud started P2. Finally, Bud is back up to P3 here tonight. NASCAR Maniac down there live in YouTube land saying looking forward for the upcoming Overdrive Cup Series season. That is going to be a blast. Daytona, 200 laps, 500 miles coming at you live from SSN tomorrow night. That's going to be one, basically it is an endurance race there in the Oval League, and the Oval Series you could call it. Samuel Blackwell, though, I've been keeping an eye on the timing and scorings here, folks. The number 8, Dale, and inspired paint scheme. Continuing to reel in Xavier Salgado for that 9th and 10th spot. Once again, I appreciate every single one of you joining in here tonight. I appreciate the drivers for putting on a show, as well as, speaking of show, Xavier Salgado. He's going to look a little bit low. I thought trying to make it down into pit entrance. Oh, that's right front. It's still spinning there, so not too much damage. Xavier Salgado 40 laps down out of this 100-lap race. Our first driver in to make a little bit of a pit stop strategy call. Brandon Moore, right now he has worked his way back up to the P2 position, and once again, this is one of these long-run drivers that we have seen continue to show the pace. Sure, they don't have it if it's a race restart or even if it's a 10-lap shootout to the checkered flag, but if it's more than a 30, 40, even 50, pushing 60-lap run, Brandon Moore, Bud Shearer, 2 drivers that we really have to continue to keep an eye on here. Brandon Moore, matter of fact, remember, it was a second separating our race leader, Charles Van Schwick, Brandon Moore, last time we looked at it. This continues to dwindle down right now, a half of a second right now between Moore and Van Schwick. Bud Shearer continues to hang right here with them. Austin Mice also right there with them, although he did lose just 2 spots just a couple of laps ago. Continuing to push that for that long run strategy, although he's losing some lap time right now, just trying to kind of hope a yellow flag comes out. We are almost halfway down in this 100-lap race. I'm going to treat you guys once again, sights and sounds of the racetrack is, well, we'll keep an eye on it here. Brandon Moore within 2/10 of a second. I'll be right back with you up here in the booth. slowly crank it back down here. Battle for the lead continues to heat up, continues to intensify. Brandon Moore putting down just steady laps here. He's smooth on that gas, smooth on the brakes. He's keeping the momentum up. Even within the dirty air here, he's continuing to able to withstand, there you go, that dirty air coming out of the rear end of Charles Van Schwick. Keeping the pace up here. I don't know, Brandon Moore, it's going to be interesting to see if his right side tires continue to have the pace after having to push this pretty hard against that Charles Van Schwick. And don't look now, but a hard charging Bud Shearer has brought a Kyler McCarthy up there with him in that top 4 spot. We have the third Musketeer back here, potential lead change coming up. Oh, most definitely. I think, look at that. You're right there on it, man. Right there on cue. Brandon Moore is going to dive it down the inside. We're going to trade a little paint here out of turn number 4. So far, keeping things steady, keeping it off of each other out of the exit. Brandon Moore, he's going to dive it back into turns on number 1 and 2 once again. He's not going to try and drift up the track here. We've already banged quarter panels once. We're going to bang side panels this time down the back stretch. And look at this. I told you to keep your eye on it. Here comes Bud Shearer. He's got his windscreen full of the best racing action that you have seen here on Stam Studio Network. Charles Van Schwick into the outside wall. Here comes Brandon Moore down to that inside line once again, side by side for the race lead. Here comes Bud Shearer as well. Kyler McCarthy is also lurking in the distance. A shark that smells blood in the water. Charles Van Schwick got big loose again. Brandon Moore back out to the race lead from Dover Motor Speedway. I mentioned it. Yeah, you can't push these tires too early on. Charles Van Schwick, we saw him trying to play the defense of a lifetime there. He made it happen. He made it happen cleanly, but unfortunately he's going to drop back to P2 and right now has that hard charging Bud Shearer, bringing Kyler McCarthy right there in with him. Kyler McCarthy has not had to push this set of tires yet, as we are now finally just over halfway. Caution on the racetrack. Looks like Dale Rapp's gone around. Yeah, I believe that is a Silver Fox racing machine there for Dale Rapp. Number 52, he's going to take that immediate tow into the pits. You got to hate that because we saw some really nice battling action there earlier on in the race with teammates. He was going at it there with Anthony Lane. It was fun to watch, but right now, unfortunately, going to take the tow. We'll hop on board here, see what happens with Dale Rapp. Doesn't look like a self-induced spin here, as he's going to look 2, possibly even 3 wide. You can't make that work off the exit of 4. Room runs out quick. We'll take another look at this race replay. So there goes Dale, that number 52 on the outside. It was 3 wide, got Justin Steves there on the bottom of it. A little bit of contact with that number 8. That's all it's going to take to send Dale right around hard into that inside safer barrier. Battle for the race off of pit lane right here. Bud Shearer, Austin Mice. Looks like Anthony Lane is actually going to stay out, so it's all going to be pretty close, pretty tight here. Austin Mice, Bud Shearer, Brandon Moore, or is it going to be Charles Van Schwick? Looks like Brandon Moore followed by Charles Van Schwick. Kyler McCarthy following them in suit. Sean Judson, Austin Mice, Bud Shearer, Joshua Higbaugh, John Holliday still making their way down and out of pit lane. Back checking in on live in YouTube land once again. NASCAR Maniac, any chance WX fan going to be back in the booth? We're going to have a little bit new, some newer voices up here in the booth. He will be back a couple races. I'm trying to get him to produce here tomorrow night as well, because I'm double booked here on SSN. So you might see WX fan producing, commentating, directing, pulling a Sean here tomorrow night for the season opener of Overdrive, as I will be at the virtual Michigan International Raceway. So we'll have to see if things all cycle out there. And speaking of cycle out, Anthony Lane, he will stay out on this race strategy. I have a graphic for it here after everything gets back and cycled back around. Brandon Moore, Charles Van Schwick, Kyler McCarthy, Sean Judson rounding out our top 5 right now, though. I'll be right back with you up here on Stam Studio Network. Ladies and gentlemen, what I want you to do, get up, stand up for your life right now. Don't give up the fight, because Anthony Lane, he's not going to give up the fight on some older sets of tires. This is going to get tight. Here we go. Green flag racing once again from the Monster Mile. Anthony Lane already down and out of it, off of the racetrack surface. I don't blame him here. That could have got bad there going into one with that pace differential. We're going to single file things back and out into turns number 3 and 4. Brandon Moore, Kyle McCarthy, Charles Van Swick right now rounding out our top 3. That's just how fast things happen here at Dover Motor Speedway. We saw Anthony Lane. He tried to make that strategy work. He could just possibly be trying to save a set of tires. No, Anthony Lane is into the pits right now. You got to feel for him. He was trying to play that scratch off card there, trying to find the lottery. Unfortunately, Anthony Lane, Silver Fox racing down into pit lane. John Holliday, Austin Mice. Here comes some nice side-by-side racing. That looks like the Xavier Salgado machine, as well as Gary Huffins. Xavier Salgado, a lap down shown at the moment, as he's going to give a little bit of a point by there to Gary Huffins. Back out to the battle for the race lead. It continues to heat up. Kyla McCarthy. Remember, this is one of the short run sort of kings that we have here within the bump and run universe in the iRacing series. It's Kyla McCarthy. He definitely knows how to find the pace within these stock cars, but once again, you have to be careful, especially from the concrete mile oval here. There's a reason that they give this name the Monster Mile as the nickname. You got to be careful on these sets of tires, as we are side by side, 2 rows back for the race lead. McCarthy, Moore, Higbaugh, Shearer all going at it, as we might look 3 wide. We will look 3 wide into turns 3 and 4. That's going to be a big slide there for Brandon Moore, as he's going to climb the hill. Contact there for Brandon Moore. Joshua Higbaugh. Looks like Higbaugh, Bud Shearer are somehow able to all keep it moving and grooving after a little bit of trading paint here. Charles Van Swick stuck up there in no man's land. Joshua Higbaugh somehow up back into P3. Brandon Moore, Kyla McCarthy still side by side for the race lead. 40 left to go here from Dover Motor Speedway. Have you ever? No, I've never. Side by side, 3 rows back. Let me know down there in YouTube land who is getting it done here tonight, as we are still side by side for the race lead. Kyla McCarthy not able to gain an inch. Brandon Moore able to work that bottom down and around the racetrack. Not too much rubber caked under that bottom inside line just yet. Remember, if you're running outside, sure, you can carry that momentum, but you're burning these right sides up. Kyla McCarthy down out to the race lead here for the moment, but you better run, you better hide. Still side by side, Charles Van Swick with a head of steam heading into turns 3 and 4. Now we're starting to see Kyla McCarthy pull away here just a little bit. Oh no, Brandon Moore's gonna go around. Hard, heavy damage for the number 19, Sean Judson, involved as well. Gary Huffins, actually, matter of fact, Gary Huffins made it safely through that. Sean Judson, Bud Shearer, lots of drivers that had some very, very fast pace here tonight are involved in the big one here from Dover Motor Speedway. Gonna have to take 2,000-3,000 looks at this one. Higbaugh involved, Shearer involved, Brandon Moore, Sean Judson. Oh, even Mike Allen there. He came into that race pretty late on. Unfortunately, he's gonna take a hit head on. Mike Allen also with damage here. Here's gonna be a look at the kind of initial setup here. Things were continuing to get tight. 43-23, able to make it there out of turn number 4. Then Bud Shearer, I don't think that was, I mean, oh my God. Okay. First of all, we're going to have to get the AMR safety team down here stat, as Higbaugh went Mach 2 into the wall. Here's a better look at what happened here as well. We'll have the drone camera shot, a little bit of a bird's eye view at what happened here. Remember, take a look at the kind of Christmas colored 93 machine. You got Brandon Moore down the inside of Bud Shearer here. The 41 possibly with a little bit of left rear contact there is going to send around the 93, and at this point it's just a snowball effect here, boys and girls. Another look at it here as we hop on with Higbaugh. This is how fast things can happen here. Well, just take a look and listen on. It's never good when you can see the sky out of the passenger side window of your NASCAR stock car. Looks like Bud Shearer, though, he will take a little bit of a faster pair. Looks like that number 93 will live to fight another day. So up out here up front, it's going to be Kyler McCarthy, Charles Van Schwick, Justin Steeves, another driver who continues to work the strategy in this Bump and Run Cup Series. Steeves will find his way up to P3, gain 12 spots on the day. Austin Mice, Bud Shearer, Sean Judson, John Holliday, Brandon Moore, Joshua Higbaugh are top 9 drivers on the lead lap right now. Xavier Salgado, Anthony Lane, Gary Huffins, Mike Allen, Samuel Blackwell, Dale Rapp, as well as Brian Huntley Jr. They are either one lap down or just out of the race at this point. Once again, appreciate every single one of you making it happen here tonight. Drivers, league owners, every single one of you in the YouTube lands. Look at our stands. We got the cardboard cutouts packed here tonight. Oh boy, start of the second half of the season here from the Bump and Run ARCA Super Series. Real quick, before we do get some more green flag racing, we'll take a look at these points real quick. Bud Shearer, remember, he came away from that series halfway finale 3 weeks ago from the Phoenix Raceway. Brandon Moore, Charles Van Schwick, Sean Judson, also Dale Rapp, Austin Mice, Anthony Lane, Brian Huntley Jr., Travis Farmer, as well as Bill Hales. They're all right up there within those top 10 runners for the points. Things get down to the nitty-gritty. Matter of fact, the sun's starting to set here a little bit. They might want to take off the shades here tonight as we are 2 by 2 once again. Kyler McCarthy, as the third musketeer says, as in the words of DW himself, boogity, boogity, boogity. Here we go. Few hundred yards from green flag racing once again here from Dover Motor Speedway. Green flag is out once again. McCarthy, Charles Van Schwick side by side in the turn 1. What a start for these two, right within each other's front nose side panels as well as rear quarter panels. Here we go, side by side. If this is the final start here tonight, this could be for the race lead. Charles Van Schwick trying to wrap that outside line, take a little bit of momentum. He works that momentum. Charles Van Schwick back out to the race lead. McCarthy, Mice, Steeves is going to lose a couple here, but Justin will drop back to P4. Sean Judson up here back to P5. Do start to see the different race lines here a little bit in the back of the pack. You got the dirty air everywhere at this point. There's no clean air. About 7, 6, even 8 spots in the back of this pack here, as there you see John Holliday. I don't think we've seen John except once, twice, maybe thrice run the bottom of the track here. John Holliday is another one of these drivers we continue to see surge up that racetrack. Here you see running that high line. He's going to diamond the apex there at the exit of 4. John Holliday gained 2 spots since the drop of the green flag. Here comes Bud Shearer, Justin Steeves, side by side. This is going to be for the 4th and 5th spot out of turn number 2. Still side by side. Look at the room. Look at the racecraft here between these two drivers. You can't, you don't, you can try. You don't get much better than this here on Stam Studio Network. Bud Shearer, Justin Steeves, Austin Mice has once again worked his way back up to P3 here in the Mice machine. 97 once again continues to show pace from the Monster Mile. Look at how close Austin gets to that outside line here. Matter of fact, Austin, he's not going to dive it to the inside. He's trying to get a little bit of clean air on that front nose, at least the right front headlights for the Chevrolet SS. 4/10 of a second back for Austin Mice, Kyler McCarthy, Charles Van Schwick, side by side for the race lead once again. Are we going to see the short run speed of Kyler McCarthy, or is it going to be the long run speed of Bud Shearer here, as we do have Charles Van Schwick continuing to put the Super Bowl-esque defense over the number 24. Battles all throughout the racetrack. Single file back out to once again for the race lead. Justin Steeves continues to fight for some grip. Sean Judson, John Holliday, Brandon Moore, blanket once again over 6th through 9th. Here we go. Brandon Moore trying to work his way back up to the race pack once again. He's going to try that inside line. Number 9, John Holliday. I don't know if he's just not friendly with it, had a bad breakup with it or what, but John Holliday is not flirting with that inside line whatsoever. Here we see Joshua Higbaugh, number 41. What a save there for the number 29, Mike Allen. He's got what looks to be another one coming. You don't do that here in these ARCA cars. That thing was slideways there at the exit of 3 and 4. What a save there from Mike Allen to keep us under green flag running conditions. Charles Van Schwick, Kyla McCarthy back out to the race lead up out front. Hey, don't count out here. Don't count out by any means at all. Bud Shearer, Austin Mice, their 3rd and 4th position. They are sharks that smell blood in the water at this point as the battles for the lead continues to heat up. Well, each time the 24 and the 23 get side by side, that's going to really present a gap here, especially for Bud Shearer. Right now, I don't know about you guys down there in YouTube land below, but put me in Bud Shearer's seats here as we take a look at the lap time. The last pit stop, the top 2. We also have to remember they stayed out. They are running in a little bit older tires. Bud Shearer, Austin Mice, Sean Judson, Brandon Moore, all last pit on lap 64. That is 1, 2, 3, count them, 12 lap newer tires than our race leaders. Will we see that be a factor here tonight? I personally think we will from this abrasive ass concrete oval. It's more abrasive than your girlfriend's legs if she hadn't saved after about a month or 2. Here we go. Once again, Sean Judson, John Holliday, Joshua Higbaugh, 6th, 7th, and 8th. The battle's continuing to heat up here on the racetrack. Still 0.2 of a second separating our front 2 runners. John Holliday, once again, he must have had something happen there with him, and that bottom line continues not to run, not even close to the bottom line. Of course, right as I say it, he's going to try it this time. No middle lane this time by. Brandon Moore is also running the middle lane as he's worked his way back up. He is now trying to get that inside line here around Bud Shearer, Austin Mice, Mice Machine, McConey setup shop, also showing some very nice pace here tonight. 21 laps to go. Charles Van Schwick has a 0.2 of a second gap over our race leader. Oops, excuse me, over Kyla McCarthy there. But I don't know. I don't think it's going to last here too long. Kyla McCarthy, look at the exit. Look at the momentum gains there out of turn number 4 there for Kyla McCarthy. That Nitro Chevrolet SS is within striking distance once again. Just 0.19 seconds separating our front 2 runners. Brandon Moore, another driver. We continue to talk about the long run speed that the 43 has with that this whole season. Right now, door corner clear is Brandon Moore for the final driver interview spot. I think he is just throwing it all out the window at this point, saying, screw the long run. I have to make something happen now, something happen quick. Back out to the race lead. Charles Van Schwick, 10.1 seconds separating our front 2 runners. 18 laps to go this time by 18 miles as we continue to see battles heating up, not only for the race lead but also 4th and 5th. John Holliday, Austin Mice, Bud Shearer, Sean Judson, Justin Steeves continues to hang right there with him. Back out to that 0.2 of a second gap for that race leader of Charles Van Schwick. Remember, these front 3 runners right now are pretty much leading us here in the points. And let's see, if you take a look at the bottom of your screen here, once again, that is the last 5 laps comparing Charles Van Schwick to Kyla McCarthy. Charles Van Schwick, faster, lap 79, lap 80, as well as 82. But there you see Kyla McCarthy, that's Kyla McCarthy reeling in. He is in the green, lap 80 and 82. Kyler McCarthy, slower lap 81, 83, and 84, but they're just tenths of a second we're working with here tonight. Don't let the colors fool you, as you can continue to see even within the same camera shots. It is visual at this point. Kyler McCarthy, I think he's faster than Charles Van Schwick here for the moment. 15 miles to go. Remember what I was talking about, the dirty air earlier on? This is chest right now at upwards of 160 miles an hour for Charles Van Schwick and Kyler McCarthy. Charles Van Schwick continues to try to play a little bit of aero blocking game over Kyler McCarthy. Kyler continues to search for a little bit of cleaner racetrack, although as I say that, he's going to send it right there with him, trying following Charles Van Schwick down into the corner. Not sure if I like the strategy call too much, as there we're going to see it. You can't turn if you're in the dirty air. Kyler McCarthy, hard impact into that outside safer barrier. Here comes Brandon Moore. Brandon Moore, the driver, the long run strategy. We have seen it time and time again. We're going to see it here tonight from the concrete monster mile. Brandon Moore is going to look down that inside line of Kyler McCarthy. Kyler McCarthy, he had a little bit of a strategy run there going for him, but unfortunately continuing to lose time to our race leader. And right now our race leader is also continuing to lose time to Brandon Moore. Is this once again within the last 10 laps of a race? Are we going to see Brandon Moore steal another race win away? I'm right there with you down live there in YouTube land. Normally we talk about the next gens having the dirty air off those rear diffusers, but I mean, come on now, there are no rear diffusers in these ARCA cars. You got a little bit of, not as much of a wake to work with there, but we definitely saw it bite Kyler McCarthy in the rear there. Well, it was actually, it bit him in the front right, but you know what I'm saying there. Brandon Moore, though, within the past 2 laps, it was 7/10 of a second, now down to 3/10 of a second, pushing to, looking like St. Patrick's Day at the bottom of the screen there once again for Brandon Moore. Faster, 86, 87, 89, and 90. Here we go, 10 laps to go, 10 miles to go from Dover Motor Speedway. Charles Van Schwick, he's going to have to play as the best. He's going to have to reach deep here because Brandon Moore coming with a head of steam. 0 aerodynamic damage there for Brandon Moore. Just that dirty air to work with. He's going to try to dive it down the hill once again from this 24-degree concrete banking. Even the back straightaway is baked. As long as a caution does not come out here tonight, this is going to be a battle for the win, battle for the century here tonight, the ARCA Series. Who gets it done? 0.15 seconds separating these drivers. Back down the back straightaway we go. There you see lapped traffic. We are slightly approaching, so that's going to have to be another thing between you, me, as well as these drivers. They're going to start to see it out of their windscreen here in just a few moments' time. 7 laps to go. Charles Van Schwick, only 0.07 seconds. That's less than a car length separating these drivers into turns 1 and 2. That GOAT Lives Racing Matter machine, 23 versus tied 43. Ford versus Chevy. Who gets it done here tonight? Brandon Moore continues to be the hard charger. He's going to have a great run here out the exit. There's the lap traffic. What's going to end up happening? A little slower, both for our race leaders. Kyler McCarthy, he continues to hold off that final driver interview spot with a little bit of right side damage. Coming to 5 laps to go next time by. Back to less than a car length separating our front 2 runners here from Dover Motor Speedway. Here you see it, Brandon Moore. He's got a nice run down that inside line. He's going to be there. We're side by side coming out the exit of turn number 2. This gets tight. You got to be careful on the gas. You got to be careful on the steering wheel as well. You don't want to get into that fellow racing competitor on the outside or inside of you here. Caution is out with 5 laps to go in the race. Who's in front? It looks like iRacing is going to give it to Charles Van Schwick. We will have a race restart here, overtime here tonight. What happens? It's Mike Allen involved once again. Oh, it's not even Mike Allen's fault. There you see, oh my goodness, AMR safety team down here, stat. That originally looks like it was the number 9, John Holiday as well. Well, John Holiday, he got a pretty big hit there down the back straightaway. We'll take a look at John's incident here. Matter of fact, Bud Shearer also involved. Another really fast driver here. Looks like he's trying to make the pass there over the number 9 machine. John Holiday scrapes that outside wall a little bit. Nowhere for the number 93 of Bud Shearer to go, as we'll get live back to our, oh, and the, man, Mike Allen just, goodness gracious, almost transported to another dimension here. All right, folks. This is what it all comes down to. Brandon Moore, Bud Shearer, Joshua Higball all staying out. Our race leader, Charles Van Schwick, as well as Kyla McCarthy, Austin Mice, all making their way down and into pit lane. Will tires matter to just 2 more laps into this race? I personally think they will. I think that these top 3 that stayed out, they will basically be what, respectfully, with what Anthony Lane was, the restart that he stayed out. Anthony Lane, matter of fact, he got it off the racetrack. He was so just slow, he couldn't get the grip and power down compared to the newer tires. So let me know down there live on YouTube land who gets it done. Is it going to be one of these newer sets of tires? That's fourth, fifth, and sixth on back, or will it be 64? These last the top 3 last pit on lap 64. Will it be a game of old tires and a game of just immaculate defense, or is it going to be the horsepower who ends up winning tonight? I definitely have my pick. And remember who was who was leading before this caution came out. My name's Sean Stam. Thank you all once again joining in here tonight on Stam Studio Network. We appreciate every single one of you, as well as the sponsors and affiliates up there in the top right. Mad Dog Graphics, Silver Fox Racing, some of the best dirt track racing here in Texas, Cotton Bowl Speedway, Mary Ann H. You guys do a great job down there with marketing, as well as just track preparation, racing, extreme scoring. That's another one, big one. Alpha One Foundation, Admin Box, Bearded Bear Custom Hides. You are all who makes this possible here tonight, as well as Race to Stop Suicide. Check on those friends and family members there around you. Something a little bit more special close to me, but seriously, it's not just a hey, how's it going? Check on those around you. Brandon Moore, Bud Shearer, here we go, side by side. We are side by side for what, 3, 4, 5, 6, count them back. Brandon Moore, Bud Shearer, Joshua Higball. As long as you don't pull a Cletus McFarland here, boys, as long as you don't spin these tires on this race start, I think you at least have a fighting chance, but we should be coming to at least to the official overtime. Coming to 2 laps to go, I do believe. There you see it in the top left. Here we go. Who's it going to be here tonight? Sean Judson, our front runner on newest tires. Will it be Sean Judson here tonight, or will it be that hard-charging Charles Van Schwick, or older General Tire Racing tires here tonight? Back into the green flag we go. There you see quite a little bit of a gap there left between Bud Shearer as well as Sean Judson. Looks like that W Energy machine. Sean Judson's going to show a little bit of pace this restart. He's going to show that he has the grip on these newer tires. He's going to look down the inside of Bud Shearer. He's only got 1 more car to beat. 1 more lap to go here. Side by side, 2 and 3 rows back. We're going to push 3 wide for 4th and 5th. Contact there for Bud Shearer, Kyla McCarthy, and Austin Mice. White flag is out. Anything goes here. Sean Judson back out to the race lead. The only lap that he has led here tonight is the white flag and what could be the checkered flag. Here we have Charles Van Schwick. He's looking to go back to back. Brandon Moore's going to dive it down the inside line. It's not going to happen. Here we go. It's going to be the one, the only Sean Judson to the checkered flags as we spin across the race line. Austin Mice hard and heavy into the inside wall. Brandon Moore is going to take away P3 just barely. Justin Steves, after a nice call on strategy here tonight, he'll take away P5. Kyla McCarthy, Joshua Higball, Anthony Lane, Bud Shearer, John Holiday, Mike Allen, Xavier Salgado, Samuel Blackwell, Dale Rapp, Brian Huntley Jr. rounding out our 16 driver field here tonight. But tonight, it all comes down to the race restart, the only 2 laps that Sean Judson won. It's going to be the white flag as well as the checkered flag. Congratulations, Sean Judson. You have earned it. Burn this puppy down. What a race, what a finish. Back to the second half of the start of the season for the Bump and Run ARCA Series. Goodness, Ricardo, we got you down there, YouTube land. Third Musketeer, NASCAR Maniac. Appreciate every single one of you joining me here tonight. Of course, that's Rosca there, NASCAR Maniac 136. Best of luck in the upcoming Overdrive Cup Series. We're gonna start that off tomorrow here as we get back to. I gotta catch my breath here, boys and girls. Apologies. We're gonna get some race results here, scrolling across the screen, as well as stick with us here on Stam Studio Network. We're going to bring you live top 3 driver interviews. Sean Judson, Fat Boys Motorsports, will bring it across and conquer Dover Motor Speedway here tonight. GOAT, Goat Lives Matter, number 23, Charles Van Schwick, he'll bring it home P2. Brandon Moore, they're at a Fueled Up Motorsports P3. Austin Mice, Justin Steves, Kyler McCarthy, Anthony Lane, Joshua Higbaugh, Bud Shearer, John Holliday, Mike Allen, Gary Huffins, Xavier Salgado, Samuel Blackwell III, Dale Rapp, and, well, Brian Huntley Jr. He's down there race control here tonight. Brian, we appreciate everything that you were doing there tonight behind the scenes. Goodness gracious, that came down to the last race restart, and we will chat with our race winners. I did say winners. Well, it's going to be the podium finishers here. Sean Judson, Charles Van Schwick, as well as Brandon Moore. Stick with us here on SSN. Give me one moment here. Alrighty, welcome into the podium finishers broadcast booth here. Charles Van Schwick, Sean Judson. See, you both got a copy. We're looking at the white flag lap here. Sean Judson, I'm gonna start with you, man. You got yourself a copy.
I got you, Sean.
Ooh, boy, once again, the one, the only way to spell it. Well, Sean, you're gonna take the checkered flag here tonight. Walk us through what was going through your mind that whole race restart, man.
Knowing that, Bud had a little bit of damage and then the top 3 were on old tires, I took a chance with 2 tires, get more track position. I was a little skeptical because, like I said, Bud had damage, so I didn't know how I was going to go starting behind him, but they got going enough that I was able to get good head of speed down the backstretch.
Gosh, you got a run and a half down the backstretch, got 3 wide. We haven't seen 3 wide work pretty much at all here tonight, but looks like just barely door quarter clear. And then you shoot out of a cannon here to take the checkered flag. Man, that was only 0.7 second gap here at the start finish line between you and Charles Van Schwick. Nice strategy call here tonight though, Sean. Were you kind of banking on a caution later on in the race, or you were steadily working your way up through the field the whole night?
Well, after getting the damage on the second incident, I was trying to just save a little bit of track position, didn't take my last set of tires, and was hoping for a caution a little earlier, but couldn't really have played that any better.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Sean. What a race, what a finish. But real quick, before we let you get going, man, who would you like to shout out? Who makes this all possible for you?
My teams, Fat Boy Motorsports, Cover Bridge Motorsports, or Cover Bridge Racing. Sponsors, W Energy, KDC Photography, Juddy Designs, my teammates, Scott, Hosek, Mark, AJ, Cole, everybody who helps me get fast.
Thank you so much, Sean. Don't, I'll give you full authority. You can celebrate a little bit too hard here tonight. Congratulations on the race win here, man.
Thank you.
That being said, Sean Judson, how about it? We're going to cut there to P2. Charles Van Schwick, he was up there leading quite a few laps here tonight. That Goat Lives Matter, number 23 Ford Mustang, bringing home P2 here tonight. Charles, you got yourself a copy, buddy.
Yeah, I got you.
Alrighty, well, I know I asked Sean the same question, but as we got up and through the gears on that final race restart, what was going through your mind, especially coming to the white flag?
Yeah, I definitely had him. I had to, I knew I had to get up top because Brandon was doing what he had to do to hold position on the bottom, and me and Brandon were in the same chat. He just got arrow tight when I got to his quarter and hit me up into the wall, and at that point, I had wheel damage going But would have loved to not have that happen, because I think I could have got a run and passed him coming out of 4 for the win. And I also wish that the first caution didn't happen, because me and Brandon were going to probably race side by side, even with me with older tires, to the end. But still will take a P2. A little disheartening. Some guys, during the race hopped in the chat, said they were done, with some of the stuff in the beginning of the race. So I love racing these cars. I'm grateful they let me run. They didn't put an I rating cap on here. So I'm glad I get to run with these guys and hang out with Brandon and those guys and Sean. But yeah, would have loved it to finish any other way than the way it did. Not because of the result, just because I think it would have been better racing, better finish than what we had there. Me and Brandon would have been good, and then like I said, Brandon got a little tight there coming out of 2. Nothing malicious, and just put me up into the wall. I would have loved to have been able to see what I could do in 3 and 4 on that last lap.
Well, Charles, regardless of the P2 here tonight, you showed us, proved it to us once again that you have the pace here. Another mile speedway, this one concrete surface. You're going to bring it on P2 real quick before we get going to Mr. Moore. Who would you like to shout out to makes it all possible for you tonight?
Yeah, you for the broadcast. I always love watching it. To Brian and the admins. I hope whatever the situations were tonight, because we only had 15 cars. I don't want to see anyone leave, because like I said, I love these cars. I like running in this league with these guys. And then to my company, Go Racing Diecast, I was just at Dover sponsoring a car in the pits, giving away shirts, getting involved with actual ARCA teams and doing customs, and got small market Xfinity teams asking me to make a bunch of customs for them for the Hall of Fame in Charlotte. So, I got a lot of stuff going on, and if anyone's looking for a custom, pre-order is new. I'm cheaper than everyone else. I'm not in it to fatten my wallet, just fatten your guys' collection. So definitely check goatracingdiecast.com out and use promo code GOATRACING23. You get 5% off any order. Pre-orders, new, old, customs, you name it, you get discounts. I have the RC cars $30 off with promo code LOCGOAT.
I appreciate that, Charles. Congrats on the P2 here tonight, podium finish, and thanks for taking some time with us here in the driver interview.
Thanks, buddy.
Have a great rest of your night there, Charles. And that being said, we will now get to the number 43, the driver to the front, to the back, to the front, to the back, and the front again. Number 43, Brandon Moore. You got yourself a copy, man.
Yeah, I got you.
Alrighty, how about it? Well, I'm going to recycle the question here, top 3. What was going through your mind as you're about to take the green flag there on that final race restart? As a matter of fact, getting a little bit of help there out of the mice machine coming to the checkered flag.
Yeah, last restart there, I just knew I was on such a tire disadvantage there, because I took that last set when I got wrecked, because, I slid the tires off of them. They were hot and flat spotted, and I think that knocked about 5% out of them. So we kind of made our bed there and tried to make the best of it. But yeah, coming there to the end, Charles got on my right rear quarter and it got so tight, and I hate that we got contact into the wall. And then, in 3 and 4, I got drove through by the 97 in the quarter and was wrecking up the track. And then, I think as the 41 was already in the wall, and we bounced off, hit back into the 97, slid across the line for a P3. So very eventful.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. I was sweating up here in the booth, man. I couldn't imagine trying to conquer this monster mile in these ARCA cars here, especially, side by side, beating and some banging. I guess that's why we call it Bump and Run series, though. Real quick, Brandon, who we shouting out to here, man? Who makes it all possible for you?
I just want to, as always like to thank the broadcast booth. Definitely want to thank the admins. I want to thank all the drivers that come out here and puts on a show for the folks at home. Without the drivers, we don't have an ARCA series, so I'm real thankful for them guys, everybody showing up that did. Hopefully we'll have more next week. And yeah, just thankful for a nice podium finish, and could have been a whole lot worse.
That's a good way to view it, man. Well, I appreciate you. Brandon, have a great rest of your night, buddy.
All right, that sounds great. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Speaking of appreciate, hey, league owners, the goodness great, the drivers, what am I thinking? The race control, that's the word I'm thinking of. Especially the one, the only, every single one of you down there live at YouTube Land, who all makes this kind of happen here tonight. I sincerely appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. The W Energy Toyota Camry, one of 4 on the track here tonight. Toyota Camry is going to bring it to victory lane. Congratulations to Sean Judson once again here. He's going to start the second half of the season off to a really, really nice run. Thank you, everybody, once again. My name's Sean Stam. I'm going to get on up out of here. I got a long ways to go, long time to get there. I'm going to do what they say can't be done. Everybody have a great rest of your night. Catch you tomorrow night for some more oval NASCAR racing action. Take care, everybody. I'll catch you later.